What's up, YouTube? Flash Speaks back for another video. We're going to do something a little bit more fun here on the fun side. Today on Speak, they brought up the issue of the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody's on their jock right now because they got the opportunity to play the team that everybody had put up there to be the best team in the league, the prohibitive favorite to make it to the Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff, since the 49ers got to play them first and got to put them in their place, actually second to the Cardinals. And in dominant fashion. Now, of course, naturally, with they doing these shows, now the Niners is the best team in the league. So anyway, the subject then comes up between on Speak between them and the Eagles, and this got my interest. So what we're gonna do, sit back, listen. I'm gonna chime in when needed.
Are the best team in football. Can I try to convince you? I know you're hard to be convinced, 2-5. I know it's hard to convince you, but can I try? Let me try.
Every week we do the same thing. Go ahead, try.
Okay. The Niners are the best team in football because their ceiling is higher than everybody else's, and their floor is higher than everybody else's. And if their ceiling isn't higher, it's comparable to. Here's what I mean. Niners, they dominated the Cowboys 42-10. But that just showed me their ceiling. A true test of your skill. How high is your floor? On your worst day, how good are you? See, if you look at the Niners' schedule in totality, even their floor is high. Look at this, man. Their floor, their worst game this season was still a convincing win over the Rams. The Rams have proven to be a competent team. Not a great team, but a competent team. So we know that the Niners...
game that they easily could have lost to the Rams there, but there he wants to call it still convincing. I don't see how.
Their ceiling is high. That's that win over the Cowboys. But the Niners' floor is high.
And I would say if the Rams had Cooper Kupp in that week, they would have won.
As well. When I think about some of the other teams in football, whether it's the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, let's look at their ceilings and their floors. Now, you can't deny the Bills' ceiling. Oh my God, a 28-point win over the Dolphins. But what about the Bills' floor? They lost a couple games. You can't deny the Dolphins' ceiling. It's crazy. 70 points, but what about their floor? They lost by 28 to the Bills. You also cannot deny the Lions' ceiling. They beat the Chiefs. Yes, the Chiefs were without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, but what about their floor? Lost in overtime to the Seahawks. Now, the most interesting one is the Eagles, obviously. Obviously, the Eagles. Ceiling is high. Floor is still a win. But a 3-point win in overtime over the Commanders is not as impressive to me as a decisive win over the Rams. And you can see for the rest, the Kansas City Chiefs, their ceiling, they whooped up on the Bears. And their floor, I don't even count the Lions' loss as their floor. Travis Kelce wasn't there. I count the 3-point win over the Jets as their floor. The reason to me the Niners are the best team in ball is because their ceiling is just as high as other teams' ceilings. But their floor, how bad they are in their bad days, that's what really tells the tale.
I think this was very stupid. Let me go back a little bit more just so we look at the stupidity of what he's doing here. All right, now, first of all, when it comes to the sport of football, really any sport, football in particular is always a game of matchups, okay? Like, so, for example, you have the Commanders who played against, who the heck did they play? The Commanders go, and the Eagles are undefeated, so it's hard to say. I'm trying to make a parallel here between the Eagles and the Commanders. The Eagles haven't lost any games, but the point is, when they play the Commanders are more prone to give them, say, a harder game than, let's say, the Commanders would play against the Bears. Like, the Commanders go out there and lose to the Bears on a Thursday night, right? They get blown out. But they play the Eagles to a standstill almost, to an overtime game. So what would you do? Would you say, okay, the Commanders' floor is the game against the Bears, and the Commanders, you know, their best game is what, when they beat, I don't know, the Tampa Bay or whoever it is they beat. You know, I forget their schedule. But the point is, when it comes to sports, the first thing you got to look at is matchups. All right? Like, me personally, I don't care what the 49ers did with any other team or anything like that. They scored 42 points, and they scored, 30 in their worst game. Like what does that really matter when you look at who's playing who? So when the Eagles play the 49ers, I don't see how any of this is relevant, because what's going to matter is how the Eagles match up specifically with them. I'm not going to go on too far with this. I mean, we're just going to let that go away.
This is their floor. The reason to me the Niners are the best team in ball is because their ceiling is just as high as other teams' ceilings, but their floor, how bad they are in their bad days, that's what really tells the test of your talent. James Jones, last week we had a conversation. We ranked the best teams in football. You and I both had the Niners at number 1, so I assume your answer, but break.
It doesn't make sense because the Eagles, on their worst day, he would say as the Commanders, they actually scored more points than the Rams did on their worst day, which is just silly, so whatever. And it was a come-from-behind victory, right? So all of this is subjective, how you look at it. Now, the defense did bad. I mean, I would just straight up tell you right now that the 49ers defense is better than the Eagles defense. I don't know that that'll be the case when we meet because ultimately what matters is do my defense match up with the 49ers? It doesn't matter if my defense is better or not.
Down your answer. Did the Niners prove they're the best team in the NFL?
Man, that's crazy. I had the Niners at number 1. I picked the Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, obviously, with what they did, my answer is not changing. And I had a chance to watch that game, all right? And I know a lot of people is like, it's Christian McCaffrey, it's Deebo Samuel, it's George Kittle, it's Brandon Ayuk.
Fred Warner.
It's Fred Warner. It's that defense. But when you watch that game, that dude back there flexing, he a problem.
That's Brock Purdy.
He a problem. Brock Purdy's a problem. Brock Purdy made every single play that night, right? And like you said, even their floor, Brock Purdy finds ways to make plays to win the game, right? And the defense, I really don't see any team in the National Football League putting up 20 points on this defense. I don't.
Silly. Especially when you look at the fact that the Rams already did, right? So that's stupid, right? Let's go back here. Nobody put up 20 points on them, right? Let's go back to
last week we had a conversation. Our ceiling is just as high as other teams' ceilings, but their floor, how bad?
And the Rams already put up 23 on them. That's all I wanted to get to, right? So nobody can put up 20, but the Rams already put up 23 on them. And I'm not even going to go through their other games and see who put up, what on them. But that's, silly to say that. And that's indicative of these guys, man. They just say whatever, at any moment. And you don't think the Chiefs could put up 20 points on them. You don't think the Eagles could put up 20 points on them. You don't think the Miami Dolphins could put up 20 points on them. What is he saying, the NFC? You don't think, the Lions could put up 20 points on them? It's just... I will venture to say the Seahawks will put up 20 points on them. Right? It's already been done. Eagles put up... I'm not even going to go into last year. All right? But whatever.
Night victory is elite coach, elite quarterback, elite defense, elite special team.
I don't have no damn elite quarterback, man. And this is the other thing with these people. These are the same guys that, when Carson Wentz was in his second season, talking about his second year, they were calling him elite already. That's what they were doing. Right, and they're calling this guy elite already. Now, what I will say is they do have an elite offense, all total. Yeah, sure, absolutely. The way they have guys who are great after the catch. This is the thing about their guys. Their guys are great at getting yak yardage. And they have a scheme that is great at getting guys open, especially in an NFL now that loves to play a lot of zone. This is what's happening, okay? Their weapons in and of themselves, to me, are not elite with the exception of Christian McCaffrey. The offensive line is decent, okay? But I don't believe their offensive line is going to match up well against the Eagles.
Teams and elite skill players on the offensive side of the ball. And that equals best team because when you're at home, everything going to be all good. And everything travels on the road, especially the defense. So for me, the Niners is the best team in football, and it really ain't even close if you're going through the first.
Yeah, this is disrespectful. All right, let's be real, okay? I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan, right? Okay. But if someone was to say to me that the Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in the league, you know what I'll do? I'll just accept that. I still think you got to give it to the Chiefs until someone beats them. I believe in my heart of heart. And I really do. And I believe I can make an argument that the Eagles have a better roster top to bottom than the Chiefs. However, I got to be real. Someone tells me the Chiefs are better than the Eagles, then I'll accept it because the last time the Eagles and the Chiefs played each other, The Kansas City Chiefs won. I'm not going to bring up a field being slippery. I'm not going to bring up a hold on Bradbury. I'm not going to bring up any of that stuff. Right? I'm not going to say if Jalen Hurts didn't fumble the ball, then we win the game or anything like that. No, the Chiefs won that game, period. So I'm not going to argue with someone who says the Chiefs are the best team in the league. That just is what it is. All right? Similarly with the 49ers. Dude, Eagles 5-0. 49ers 5-0. Okay, the thing about football is what the 49ers did to the Dallas Cowboys is going to have zero bearing on what happens when they play the Eagles because it's not the same team, just like last year. They beat the 49ers, come to the Eagles and get whooped. And I don't want to hear nothing about the quarterback, a fluke injury to the quarterback. No, that quarterback was going to get hit all day because they couldn't block the Eagles, period.
5 weeks of the season. And I know you put them teams up there. The Eagles are still up there, kind of hanging under the radar, undefeated. It ain't close.
You had joy, James, until you said it wasn't close. Now she hit you with that.
I gotta get her.
The thing that's crazy about this, the irony of this show is you have 3 men up there and 1 woman, and the woman is the most logical out of everybody on the panel. I've never seen anything like it. It's unbelievable.
Just the show getting started. I'm just trying to get her amped up.
It's not close.
Nah.
I mean, it's close.
How close?
I'm not mad at anyone saying that the Niners are the best team in football because they're certainly the most dominant team in football, along with being undefeated. And as you showed, even when they are close to losing, it's still farther away than everyone else, which is the definition of the floor. But just like the Cowboys had to come in and beat the champ to prove that they were the best team, which people thought they were the best team going into this weekend, so do the San Francisco 49ers. Because the last I checked, the Eagles are still undefeated as well.
Undefeated. Them and the Niners left standing.
Were the Eagles the NFC champions last year?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Did they beat the 49ers on the way to the Super Bowl last year?
Yes, ma'am.
They spanked them.
They did. They did. And we know that Brock Purdy was not playing in that game. Why wasn't he playing in that game? LaShawn, Shady, McCoy.
Big dogs up front. Took him out.
He was removed from the game by that Eagles defense.
That's true.
Not a non-contact injury. No one wishes for this, but that is the facts. That is how it played out. So to me, it is splitting hairs. I'm not mad at all at anyone saying that the Niners are the best team in football. They've looked like that, but they still haven't beaten the champ. And if you've got 2 undefeated teams and the last time you saw each other, one was defeated, and that's the San Francisco 49ers, I'm still going to give the edge to the Eagles.
I want to ask you a question, sir. Gave Brock Purdy some nice praise. I respect that.
I did. I'm just going off my 2 eyes, man.
Right now, where do you rank him as he's playing at quarterback-wise in the NFC?
In the NFC only.
NFC only.
I thought you might have go NFC.
NFC only.
In the NFC, he the second best quarterback.
Hold on.
This is nonsense. All right, I'm going to rank the quarterbacks in the NFC. Okay, the best quarterback in the NFC right now is Jalen Hurts. Second best quarterback in the NFC is Matthew Stafford. Third best quarterback in the NFC, Jared Goff. Fourth best quarterback in the NFC, I won't argue with Brock Purdy. I won't argue with Brock Purdy, even though in my heart of hearts, I still believe Dak Prescott is better than Brock Purdy. And I also believe Geno Smith may be better than Brock Purdy as well. Okay, but if right here you want to put Brock Purdy as fourth, I will accept that. Okay, Brock Purdy is playing in an advantageous situation that we've seen others play in and succeed. It's not to say he isn't good. We're going to find out what you are when the stakes get higher and ish gets realer. All right, but right now, to put him ahead of Matthew Stafford is complete, utter disrespect and is indicative of recency bias and actual ignorance of the game of football and of the sport of football. Okay, Matthew Stafford has thrown for over probably 30,000 yards in his career. Has a Super Bowl, thrown for 5,000 yards in the season and so on. I actually wouldn't even argue with someone who argued that Stafford is better than Jalen Hurts. I wouldn't even argue with that, okay? I'm going to say Hurts, but, right, to just prop this guy up because he's on the roll over all these guys who've accomplished things in their career, to me is just like, I hate it. I really do.
Wait, hold up.
I'm going on my own side. If Dak would have won that, he would have been behind.
Slow down. You said that. When I said that weeks ago, you thought I was tripping.
Because
you said I was tripping.
Dak yet.
You were tripping. You ain't played Dak yet. Oh, man.
Now, we have this thing again. I don't want to just be right. I just want you to admit that.
You know, the blessing about this show is it is a week-to-week show, right?
Okay.
Things change.
I'm right again. Anyway.
Things change.
Are they the best team in the NFL?
NFC.
NFC?
Oh, NFL.
Let's take the NFC. They're not going to the NFC. No, the Eagles are. Right? And like you talked about, I'm a big believer in what Muhammad Ali said. If you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And last time they played, they didn't just beat them. They didn't just beat the kids. They just beat the team. They spanked them. They made them quit. I'm going to take your quarterback. I'm going to put him out the game. Who next? You two. They had Chris McCaffrey playing quarterback. So when you ask me who is a better team, it got to be the Eagles. You know, I watched your little thing you did up here. He was talking about, like, you know, the points, the ceiling, the floor. And that was pretty, I liked it, though. I did like it. And it was clever.
I appreciate you.
I see you did some time on that. You know, producers, y'all did your thing. The thing is, right, I don't care about none of that.
Whoa.
I care about wins. I care about losses.
Of course.
The same thing. I wins and losses, but I would also add to that matchups. How do the Eagles match up specifically against the 49ers? That's what matters. Okay, at the end of the day, like I'm telling you, those skilled players are hiding behind that system. Deebo Samuel is not a top flight wide receiver. He's a weapon. Yeah, he's a guy, man, you give him the ball in space, you give him a ball on the screen, he's dangerous. Okay, but he's not a route runner. He's not an excellent hands, catcher. He's none of those things. And Ayuk is a little better than Deebo, but like if you take the 4 top wide receivers in the 49ers versus the Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk is the 3rd best behind Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. All right? Now, the 49ers have Kittle. Kittle will be the best tight end out of that situation. Kittle and McCaffrey are the 2 elite players, but the guys the Eagles have are good as well, and they will match up well against the 49ers players. Now, I like Fred Warner. I think he may do a decent job on Dallas Goedert, perhaps. Okay? But, you want to measure the Eagles receivers versus the 49ers secondary. Come on, man. And Jalen Hurts, last time we played them, he wasn't even completely healed from his injury. There were like throws that he would have connected on, that he connected on all year, that he overthrew, and it was a little bit off here and there, and he showed what he was once we got to the Super Bowl. Dude, I'm trying to tell you, like, if it comes down to it, because when push comes to shove, the Eagles have more talent than the 49ers. That's Dallas, what y'all did to them. That's what you did. Like, all that stuff you're doing to these other teams has nothing to do with the Eagles, bro. Like, nothing at all. And the one thing I just need the Eagles to do is tighten up the secondary. But I got this feeling the secondary of the Eagles are not going to have a serious problem with the receiving core of the 49ers, as long as you don't fall for all the stupid misdirection and you can handle that running game. That's the key. You can contain the 49ers running game. Dude, it's a wrap. And the Eagles are like number 1 against the run right now. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. For anyone who knows football, they know it's going to be ugly. When Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, they ain't seen these boys, man. They ain't seen these boys. And then y'all secondary, I'm telling you, the Rams have better receivers than the 49ers. The Washington Commanders have better receivers than the 49ers. I'm telling you, these guys are overrated, man.
Niners are 5-0, undefeated.
Yes, sir.
The Eagles are 5-0, undefeated.
Yes, sir.
So all that points don't even matter. Win the game. I don't care how you win. As long as you win games. That's what we're doing. And the thing is, if we're not playing great, like people were saying we're not playing great, but we're still winning, imagine when we get to that point where we're playing great. Then what? It's going to be scary.
Can I ask you one?
Yes, you may.
2-5. At the point in which both teams are undefeated, Eagles and Niners, both teams are undefeated, and you are going off their body of work, the 5 games that you have seen from both teams.
Yes.
And the question is both for Joy and for you, 2-5, have the Niners not looked like the better team? I would say that,
It's such a stupid point to make right there, because what it's going to come down to is these 2 teams matching up against each other. What the Eagles did to the Commanders or did to the Patriots is going to have nothing to do with the 49ers. That's the thing about sports that, like, I'm shocked that this guy who plays sports doesn't get. Or, I mean, I guess he's just a complete media guy now, so he goes based off of their logic. I don't know.
Collectively, they have looked like the better team. If the Eagles have looked like the better team, please tell me why and how they have looked like the better team than the Niners.
This is the problem with you guys, right? Right.
He asked you the question.
You guys every time you see a game dominated in a great fashionable way, y'all jump right up on them. Oh, they killed the Cowboys. They gotta be the best team, right? Did the same thing with the Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Giants, 40-0? They gotta be the best team in football. The Dolphins, they beat the
Broncos
70-20. They gotta be the best team. Why? You see what we're doing here? Now, when we play the Niners and we win, y'all know what y'all gonna be doing? Oh, you're gonna do this whole diagram, all these, the Eagles and all that. The Eagles are the best team.
But now they're going to make some type of excuses. That's what they do. Like last year, niggas went up there and dominated their offensive line. What do they do? Make some type of excuse talking about a fluke injury, assuming that if their quarterback was there, that they would be moving the ball. I mean, the only thing I would say, I would assume that the offensive line would get dominated. Like, that's really the only thing you can assume because that's what happened. Anyway, man, I'm going to just stop right there. Peace.